Almost everything we spend our energy on, our willpower, the time, the things we think about, the things we chase, always ends up aiming at the same thing, detaching ourselves from the very reality that we want to avoid even thinking about. It seems virtuous, like you put yourself above others, you feel good about yourself. Maybe you take more money, than others, you make more money than others. And that also makes you feel good, like you've had a better life than them. Like there are so many ways in this life, like to feel good about yourself, like especially to feel superior than others, to feel like you're better than others. And since it's all just feelings, it's not a fixed value, it's not something like you can objectify it. It's not a universal truth that one person can have a can live a better life than others, any others. People can invest their own meanings, like life like live entirely inside their own private worlds for their whole lives, entire life, and still feel fulfilled or seem fulfilled, unless they are trapped in the hedonic treadmill, like the that deprivation fulfillment trap, where you can never stay satisfied, where you always need the next step, next achievement, next pursuit, just to feel okay, where you need someone constantly handing you new tasks so you don't feel detached from reality. And there's something wrong with that. I think, like, fundamentally it's wrong. We all need meaning and purpose to survive. I think we can all agree to that point. But like we don't just seek it. Like we need it to survive, but surviving requires compromise. What I mean by compromise is that you have to admit your actions sometimes contradict your own beliefs. Like the way you think and the way you act don't always line up. And honestly, I think that is what religion is really pointing at when it talks about sin. Like, I'll put it in my own words, like we all compromise in order to survive. And survival exists on two very different planes, like two dimensions, and like that were never meant to occupy the same space. So like we weren't supposed to be this self-aware. Like we weren't supposed to sit around wondering why we are even here in this universe in the first place. I know that it's a very cliche thing to say, a cliche question that you get to like listen to or hear here and there, even in the Instagram quotes. But like the kind of like ontological questions we all throw at like ourselves, like late at night, and that I think that like that raises another question. Like you find, let's say, values, you build purpose into your life, you feel good about yourself through certain actions, and you exist in relation to other people. You're someone's son or daughter, maybe someone's parent, someone's friend, maybe even someone's best friend if you're lucky. You are someone to someone else, and that gives you a kind of satisfaction, being acknowledged, validated, having a place in this world. And that's exactly why I think in the end we are all trying to detach ourselves from the actual raw indifferent of reality. I'll draw a line from, like, I love from Camus' The Stranger, like the benign indifference of the universe. You look at it and it says nothing back. Like we don't even really know if that feeling is real, whether the things we call objects are actually objects, the way we experience them. Because we'll never know what it's like to be a phone or a piece of metal. Like that might sound irrelevant, even illogical, but dualists all actually like run this exact experiment, like the famous "what is it like to be like to be a bat or rat or a horse" argument. Even if we know every single biological mechanism behind how a bat functions operates, just like how we know how a human operates, we'll never know what it feels like to be one. Consciousness, in their view, is real precisely because of that gap. But if you follow that logic all the way through, we don't we don't even know like the real distinction between us and the air particles around us. We just feel different. We categorize things so like language works, so communication is a lot easier than using all body language or ancient alphabets, let's say. So we can sit at the top of the food chain, you know, like that's the whole point. There's an enormous gap between humans and other animals. We don't even have to fight like the most of them for dominance. As far as I know, like almost no other species can organize in groups larger than like 40 or so, except for ants. I'm not saying there's like no meaning at all. I graduated like nihilism, you know, like I mean that I can proudly say I graduated nihilism. I went through that phase hard in junior high and a little into freshman, I think like year of my high school. I had this deep pull toward nihilism and all the ideas that come with it. And that's actually when I realized like nihilism sucks, obviously in hindsight. But I really dove into it, questioned it, sat with it, and found that underneath the surface, there's nothing there, like nothing to pursue in the void, you know, like nothing to even reach and like trying to learn more about. So I turned toward meaning instead, obviously. Concretely, that meant trying to actually make friends. Like that was the year before that. One thing about isolation, like you focus on so much on yourself that you lose track of time. Like it doesn't even feel like it's only been 2 years. Like time genuinely feels strange to me sometimes. Sometimes like a month stretches out like a year. Sometimes I'll took a photo from like 3 years ago and it feels like it's been five at least, you know? Like time really has no fixed value when it comes to how we experience it. Like we move because of feeling. We are motivated by feeling. Like literally at the root, we survive because of our feelings. Even if we dress it up as discipline, hard work, or I want to feed my kids, at the bottom of it, it's all feelings. I'm not saying every feeling is equal, but every belief, every coping mechanism. Like every hope is chasing a belief, a better feeling, you know, a better belief. And I've realized also, like since we've all silently agreed to play this game, to live inside this world, maybe constant thinking isn't actually the best use of your time. Like my personal motto is question everything whether you're right or wrong. Not because you need to always be right, but because it forces to check whether you're standing on a solid ground or just believing whatever you were raised into, whatever feels familiar. That process um, makes you more self-aware, and it's what lets you actually think about like original thoughts. I genuinely have like a lot that part, the deep how should I say, like the deep questioning of one subject at a time, and it has to be like one thing though. Like you have to focus or you won't get anywhere. Like you have to just pick one thing and try to like end it like right there, even if it takes like hours or like days. Like that said, the more I think about it, the less worth it. Like thinking feels survival wise. I've said this on my channel before numerous times. I think just like yesterday as well, like actions over intellect, instinct over intellect, like doing over thinking. Maybe the goal is finding the balance between questioning and actually acting. But the more I try to learn, the less interested I get in. Like I don't know if interest interested is even the right word. Um and yet I'm still thrilled sometimes, like still very ambitious. Like there are things I genuinely want to achieve and I want to see how they turn out. Things I the seeds I had planted years ago. I want to see how they turn out in like 2 years. I and like YouTube is one of those seeds, though not one I planted years ago. I think it's only like barely been not even a year, like 6 months, 7 months at this point. But it's something I genuinely looking forward into, not just in the like new project, new excitement way, but like because it's like this one feels different from everything else I've tried. And I haven't lived 40, 60, 80 years, obviously, but personally, I don't think age really matters that much. Like, we all forget, like, people change and we forget. It's a blessing and a curse. Like, if you don't document your life somehow, recording your voice, your face, like what I'm doing right now, oblivion catches up to you. Like, you end up on your deathbed, let's say at like 70 or 80, wondering where all the time went. And it is a exaggeration, but like, and I guarantee you won't remember much of it. Like, most people at the very end just say a handful of things without even really knowing what they are saying or why. Like, might sound a little bit cynical, but I hate the idea of having no option except to convince yourself, like, after the fact, but you had a good life. You can make a million bad decisions and not a single good one. That's fine. Like, that's a load. Like, but the thing I hate the most, the opposite of motivation, whether you want to call it, like, it's exactly what I described earlier. Reaching a point where you feel like there's nowhere left to go, like where your brain has no um how do I say, like, your brain has no build a defense like mechanism just to protect yourself from the brutal truth, but you did nothing. So you construct a false narrative and tell yourself that it was all worth it at the end, because otherwise you couldn't survive the truth. Like, that's literally what defense mechanism is. And like, sometimes they even erase pieces of your memory, and at that point, like, you are no longer really yourself. You've lost yourself and somehow become okay with it since you lost yourself. And I guess, in a sense, like, that's fine too. Like, if that person is happy, like, why should it matter at the end? Like, but that's just my take, my option. I mean, my opinion about this life. Enough of thinking for now, I guess. And this is it. For this video. And thank you guys for watching or listening. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.